So our next step now is to do what I call hole changes. Now this is still chord tones for each hole, but what hole changes is basically as the chords change, we call those the changes, you are hitting a note that matches on that given hole. So if I play the first hole on the harmonica, if we're on the 1 chord, just look at that chart, it says you can hit 1 draw. If you're on the 4 chord, it says you can hit 1 blow, and on the 5 chord you have your choice, 1 draw or 1 blow. So looking at the 1 draw, for the 1 chord, that's the 5th of the 1 chord. 1 blow is the root of the 4 chord, that's C. Our 5 chord is D or C, which is the root or flat 7th. And I'm just going to create a nice little rhythm. I'm basically thinking accompaniment at the moment. So here I go. 1 draw. You can play along with me. Blow. Draw. Hold the draw. Hold the blow. Back to 1 draw. It worked. All the notes matched. 1 draw for the 5 chord root note, 1 blow for the 4 chord root note, 1, 1, that's the 5th of the 1 chord, 1, 1, 1, and the band actually did a turnaround which has a 5 chord at the end, right? Remember from our improvising study number 5? I could just stay there because the 1 draw matched. So the goal now is to spend, a number of days or a week, depending on how much your practice time is, just playing the first hole. And you're going to be saying, in your mind, you know that it's 1 draw. So you're going to go 1, 1, 1, 1, and when that 4 chord comes, go to 1 blow, right? 1 blow, and you're imagining you're playing a 1 blow on the harmonica in your mind, 1 blow, develop this mental image. Then your next step is to actually say the pitch. So if I'm on the 1 chord, I'm going D, 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 D. Now we know D is the 5th of the 1 chord. It's a note that matches. So you're envisioning in your mind, you're actually physically seeing, not physically, but mentally seeing that D in your mind. And you know it matches that 1 chord. So it goes something like this. So you got that. 1 draw in your mind, that's D. D, 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 D. Vision that in your mind. D, D, D. Here's the 4 chord. C, C, 1 blow, C, C, C. Back to the D. D, 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 D. 5 chord. D, 4 chord, C, 1 chord. D, D, 5 chord, D, D, D. It'll take a while to be able to do that, but with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to do that. Now you will say the actual scale degree. So in this case, you're going to say 1 draw, D, for the 1 chord is the 5th. And you go to 1 blow, C is the root note, because C is the root note of the C, E, G, B flat chord, right? So C, C, you're going to say root, root. And for the 5 chord, we're going to stay with the 1 draw D, and that's the root of the 5 chord. So as each chord changes, even though we would be playing the 1 draw, for example, 1 draw is the 5th of the 1 chord, but when we're on the 5 chord, it's the root of the 5 chord. So we follow that same progression in our mind. Here we go. We start with the 5th. 5th, 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 5th. Here comes the 4 chord, 5th, 5th. Now blow, root, 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 root. Back to the 5th, 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 5th. Here's the 5. Root, blow, root. Back to the 5th, 5th, a 5th, root, root. It just went to the 5 chord at the end, right? And then the last step is, just your general understanding. So you would say something like this. As you're playing in your mind, you go on 1, 1, that's D, D, it's the 5th of the 1 chord, to the 1 blow, C, root of the 4 chord, back to the D, D, 5th of the 1, D is the root of the 5, C is the root of the 4, back to the D, it's the 5th, now root, root, right? So what you're doing is really getting to know what the notes are for that 1 hole. But you can do this, right? It's only 1 hole. Take your time to go through that process.